She was publicly humiliated by a rich woman and her daughter, but what happened next shocked everyone. Storytelling and beyond. When a poor boy dared to dream beyond his means, society laughed. But when a rich girl and her mother turned his vulnerability into public humiliation, no one could have imagined how fate would twist and who would rise in the end. This story is about pain, pride, redemption, and the sweet return of dignity. Welcome to Storytelling and Beyond, where every story opens the heart and reminds us that kindness, cruelty, and courage all have their consequences. It was one of those evenings when the city shimmered in the golden haze of wealth and celebration. Outside the iconic Harrington Grand Hotel, luxury cars purred to a halt, red carpets unrolled beneath velvet ropes, and laughter bubbled like champagne. Among all the opulence stood a boy who didn't belong. Rayaan, 19, soft-spoken, and dressed in a plain blue shirt his mother had ironed thrice, stood near the grand marble fountain, clutching a small, worn velvet box. He looked out of place. His shoes were old and slightly scuffed. His hair, though neatly combed, held the texture of nervous fingers running through it for hours. His heart pounded so loudly he could barely hear the murmuring of the passing elite. But Rayaan didn't notice any of it. He only saw her. Alina Moreau. She was elegance wrapped in arrogance. The daughter of Victoria Moreau, a woman known in the city as the queen of fashion and silent cruelty. Alina had met Rayaan in university, where she had borrowed his lecture notes, laughed at his jokes in the library, and once even offered him coffee. To Rayaan, she wasn't just beautiful, she was kind, maybe different from the rest. So when she agreed to meet him at the hotel courtyard, he thought, maybe she felt the same. With shaky hands, Rayaan clutched the box, a silver ring, passed down from his grandmother. His mother had offered it to him with tearful eyes. Beta, if your heart says it's real, then go. Give her this. It's not gold, but it holds a legacy of love. He believed in that legacy. But as he walked toward the courtyard, everything began to blur. Alina wasn't alone. 3 of her perfectly dressed friends flanked her like fashionable bodyguards. At her side stood Victoria herself, draped in black silk and dripping with judgment. The women laughed about something, their voices crisp and sharp. Alina spotted him first. Oh look, she said, tilting her head mockingly. The delivery boys arrived. Laughter burst from the group. Rayaan paused, confusion filling his chest. He stepped forward slowly, raising the small box. Alina. She rolled her eyes. Is that for me? She said, motioning to the box. Before Rayaan could answer, Victoria stepped in with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. So, this is the boy who thinks he's worthy of my daughter. Ryan's throat dried. I don't mean to disrespect. Victoria plucked the box from his hand. Opened it. Her face twisted in amusement. Silver, she said loudly. Is this a joke? The other girls gasped theatrically. Alina covered her mouth in fake surprise. Oh no, mother. He's proposing with a coin. Laughter, again. Sharper now. Crueler. Ryan's face burned red. His hands trembled. It belonged to my grandmother. I thought. Victoria's hand moved in one swift motion. The ring sailed through the air and landed in the fountain with a tiny plop, swallowed instantly by dancing water and forgotten coins. Rayaan gasped. No, please. Alina stepped closer, her voice suddenly low and icy. Did you really think someone like me would marry someone like you? We needed a laugh tonight. Thanks for the show. A burst of laughter followed, but Rayaan didn't hear it. He stared at the fountain. At the ripples where the ring disappeared. At the place where his dignity had just drowned. He turned without another word and walked away. His breath catching in his chest, his vision blurred not by tears but by the shattering sound of illusion breaking. But none of them noticed the man behind the stone pillar. A man in a tailored black suit. Quiet, observing, filming the entire scene. His eyes weren't filled with pity. They were filled with memory. Because he, too, had once stood by a fountain. And had been laughed at. And he knew exactly what that pain could become, if given the right direction. 2 weeks had passed since that humiliating night, and Rayaan hadn't stepped outside his small home in the outskirts of the city. His phone lay silent. His books gathered dust. The only sound in the cramped room was the occasional cough of his aging mother from the adjoining space. She didn't pressure him, nor did she ask what had happened. But every morning she placed a cup of tea outside his door, and every night she left a covered plate of food. Rayaan barely touched either. The betrayal hadn't just shattered his pride. It had shaken the foundation of everything he believed in: decency, dignity, hope. The image of the ring sinking into the fountain haunted him like a curse. He kept seeing Alina's smirk, her mother's disdain, the laughter, and his trembling hands. Then came the knock. 3 gentle raps on the door, precise and deliberate. Rayaan ignored it at first. Probably a neighbor or someone asking for directions. But the knock came again, followed by a calm voice. "Rayaan Khan?" Reluctantly, he opened the door a crack and paused. A tall man in a dark gray suit stood there, wearing a clean-cut beard and eyes that looked like they'd seen storms and survived every one. His expression was unreadable, but his presence carried weight, like someone who didn't just pass through life, but moved with purpose. "Who are you?" Rayaan asked, his voice hoarse. The man handed him a card. Gold letters embossed in clean lines: Rayaan Westwood, founder and CEO, Westrice Holdings. "I saw what happened at the Harrington," the man said. Ryan's breath caught. That was private. "It became public the moment they turned your dignity into their spectacle," Rayaan said, calm but firm. "I was there for a meeting. But I stayed for your silence." Rayaan looked down, his voice almost a whisper. "So you came to, what? Offer pity?" "No," Rayaan said. "I came to offer direction." He extended a hand. "Come with me." Still stunned, Rayaan followed him outside. A sleek black SUV waited by the curb, its windows tinted. As they drove through the city, Rayaan didn't speak much, and Rayaan didn't ask questions. He simply watched as the car passed shining towers and bustling markets, eventually arriving at a sprawling, glass-fronted campus just beyond the city limits. The name above the gate read, Westrice Innovation Hub. Inside, it was a different world. Young people from all backgrounds, rural, urban, street-born, dropout, orphaned, worked side by side. Whiteboards filled with ideas. Laptops clicked with purpose. Hope buzzed in the air like electricity. "This," Rayaan said, gesturing around, "is where forgotten people remember their worth. We don't give charity here. We give people back to themselves." Ryan's voice trembled. "Why me?" Rayaan turned, eyes sharp. "Because once, I was you. Same shoes. Same silence. Same humiliation. Someone believed in me when I didn't. Now it's my turn." That evening, Rayaan was handed a blank ID card and a notebook. No promises. No special treatment. Just a space to breathe and learn. And so began the transformation. Rayaan immersed himself in everything: coding, digital logistics, communication training, startup incubators. He failed. He stumbled. But he got back up, again and again. Days blurred into weeks, and each moment stripped away the timid boy who once stood trembling at a fountain. 6 months later, Rayaan led a team of innovators developing a tech solution to streamline delivery systems for underserved rural vendors. The platform caught attention not just from local investors but national forums. He gave a talk titled, "From Laughter to Launch." His voice steady. His story raw. His mission clear. He didn't mention Alina or her mother. He didn't have to. Because the boy they laughed at no longer existed. The boardroom atop the Delacroix Tower gleamed with cold elegance: glass walls, leather seats, a marble conference table stretching like a runway beneath a modern chandelier. Victoria Morrow sat at the head of it, draped in a designer black coat, her gloved fingers drumming impatiently on the surface. Alina, seated beside her in a tailored white suit, kept checking her reflection in a compact mirror, her face showing subtle signs of anxiety masked as boredom. Their once celebrated fashion brand, Maison Moreau, was sinking. Debt collectors were circling. Influencers had turned silent. Retail partners were pulling out. Months of lavish overspending and a failing online campaign had dragged them to the brink. Then came the anonymous email. A silent investor offering $5 million in emergency capital with one condition: a complete creative rebranding and undisclosed project leadership. Victoria scoffed at first. But desperation has a way of silencing pride. Now they waited. The side door opened precisely at noon. 2 assistants entered, followed by a tall man in an immaculate charcoal suit, flanked by a legal advisor and a quiet personal aide. Victoria rose halfway, lips pursed. "And you are?" The man stepped forward calmly, his eyes locked on hers. "Rayaan." Neither of them spoke for a moment. Alina blinked, her voice brittle. "Rayaan." He gave a polite nod. "Miss Moreau." "Miss Victoria." Victoria stared, stunned. "This is absurd. What kind of joke?" Rayaan placed a thick folder on the table. "These are the legal transfer documents. Your signatures are already on them from the preliminary agreement. The funds were wired 2 hours ago." "But you're the boy," Victoria began, but faltered. Rayaan opened the folder slowly, revealing a sleek brand deck titled Rise. Maison Moreau will no longer cater to exclusive elite fashion. It will be restructured to support young, unknown designers from low-income communities, those rejected by the industry, just like I was rejected at your hotel. Victoria's mouth opened, then shut. Alina looked pale. Rayaan continued, voice even. "Your company will survive. But your name won't lead it." Alina reached for words. "Rayaan, please, this." Rayaan turned slowly to face her, his eyes no longer soft with longing or pain, but calm, resolute, and distant. "You were just having fun," he said, finishing her sentence. Alina stood, her voice faltering. "It wasn't meant to go that far. We didn't think you'd be human?" Rayaan asked, voice firm but not cruel. "Feel shame? Grief? Or was I just another joke for the evening?" She looked down, the sparkle in her eyes now drowned in something raw, remorse. Victoria, meanwhile, tried to regain control. "Listen, young man. Whatever personal vendetta you have, business doesn't run on emotions." Rayaan closed the folder and stood up. "You're absolutely right, Victoria. Business runs on purpose. Which is why I'm here. Not for revenge. Not for drama. But for those like me laughed at, dismissed, discarded." He turned to the glass wall behind him and looked down at the city. Then back at them. "You see this tower? It's built on the very earth where my mother used to sweep floors in an office building that was demolished. She never complained. She never begged. She told me, Rayaan, when someone throws you out the door, don't wait outside. Build your own house." He looked directly at Alina. "And I did." Silence choked the room. Then, his aide stepped forward with a tablet showing a live stream. The rebranding launch of Maison Moreau, now Project Rise, was happening downstairs in the main auditorium. The audience was packed with media, young designers, artists from shelters, single mothers, disabled creatives, all given a chance by Ryaan's platform. Applause erupted through the speakers. Rayaan walked to the door. Before exiting, he paused. "Alina," he said quietly, "I used to think your smile was the kindest thing I'd ever seen. But now I know, sometimes smiles hide cruelty. And silence can build empires." He left them there, sitting in the shell of their former kingdom, now rebuilt by the very soul they once humiliated. Outside, the wind was crisp, and the sun had begun to set behind the tall glass buildings. Rayaan stood still for a moment, breathing in the evening air. He wasn't angry. He wasn't hurt. He was free. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Storytelling and Beyond and stay connected.